Yo, 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 yo. What arc, Night Steppers? Hello everyone, Connor Whitmore here again with another review for you on the Nawtystep channel. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the new EP from Teminite, Unstoppable. Sam Norris, aka Teminite, is back with his first EP since August 2017. Rally the Troops alongside Sonar, just 3 songs there, but undoubtedly one of the most impactful projects I heard that year. In between then and now, however, we got his sophomore full-length LP, Uprising, released last November. Unquestionably my favourite album of 2018, a collection that really showed Norris levelling up with his production, proving himself once again to be the most wide-reaching and ambitious dubstep producer when it comes to live instrumentation. Whilst also being extremely diverse in mood, genre, sonic delivery, it was him firing on all cylinders like we hadn't seen before, in my opinion. This year had seen a pretty steady release of singles before this EP came out last Friday. A very collaborative first half of the year or so for him, working with MDK, Wales, Evil Wave, the Arcturians, Swing It Dixie Band. But solo material was what fans were really crying out for, and now we finally have it in Unstoppable. And does this EP remind us of what Norris's music is best for? I think yes, but in my eyes in a different way to usual. With Unstoppable, Norris shows us once more that when it comes to fusing dubstep and classical instrumentation, there are no limits. However, more so than past projects, this one feels far more focused on the musical aspect of it than the heaviness we associate his music with. Basically, I can count on one hand the amount of times the heavy aspect of this EP really steals the show. Take, for example, the middle drop on the opener and title track, where the project first really comes to life on the heaviness front. All of that skittish stuff mixed in with the melodic notes makes for a brilliant combination, great relationship between everything, blistering stuff.
Drop it.
Moving on from there, on track 3, Break Free, for the final drop we get a nastier version of the grungy electro house first one. Effectively the same, but with these savage bro step breaks in them, amazing energy, gnarly as fuck, ravenous, so good. The heaviness on the closer Hold On, I enjoy pretty much across the board, the first drop taking the momentum over from the powerful introduction, maintaining the energy with scintillating, frenetic dubstep, lovely old school tinge to it as well, with those Nero-like wubs. The final drop being more savage, high-pitched dubstep, which by this point in the EP I feel like we've waited a fair amount of time for. The higher octave is a fantastic development, again that classic skittish Teminite delivery working well, effectively returning to the original drop as well. But for me that's what the outstanding heavy stuff here amounts to, with there potentially being more that doesn't quite take my fancy. Moving backwards to Break Free again, I touched on that original electro house drop, which I like for how it motors forward with energy, drive, purpose. But I encounter similar issues with it, as with his song Space Invaders alongside MDK. The percussion does just need to be beefier, the synths finer cut. It's exciting and thrilling, no doubt. I feel like I'm on a heroic journey voyaging forward with it, but as a mesh of elements it doesn't quite have the desired impact. The Ravenous Dubstep of the final drop, which I talked about earlier, we get a hint of that in the middle drop, but it doesn't truly take off, made up mostly of more electric melodic stuff. I let him off on that though, just because of the final drop. In that middle drop, I don't think the track is quite ready yet for the savagery, so really, it's a good choice. The other drops on the opener, I'm very in the middle about. The first one is quite an emphatic mix originally, but then kinda tails off a bit, bringing together roaring bellows, more grungy stuff and high-pitched stabs. It's a nice dynamic here, but not blowing me away, it's quite straightforward. And the final drop is probably the most interesting on the EP, in that I really like the idea, but after multiple listens I'm still not sure how and what it's making me feel. A meaty guitar-led drop, frantic synths running through it, an emotional, heartfelt quality to it as well. The solo that follows is sweet and empowering. And it's a good blend of remorseful and forceful, but I don't know if it fully gets me yet, needs to push a little bit further on the melodic aspect of it. However, the heaviness I know I'm not that big on arrives in track 2, Believe. A lot of good to this song, but the one drop we do get just doesn't work. The musicality is nice, but the dubstep takes a weird direction, going for this scaling appeal, reaching for the heavens kind of delivery, and it needs much more going on. The gaps are quite obvious. Again, a decent dynamic between what we have, but not enough of it. Where you'd expect to get another drop in Believe, we actually get another very interesting sequence, this time more musical than heavy. This jumpy saxophone comes out of nowhere with a pulsating electro beat beneath it. Initially for me, this doesn't really fit within the context of the song, but the chemistry between the components becomes more apparent over time, a whole minute of it continually evolving, mutating, building. It's cool. And over a drum and bass beat, which is again interesting. On that note though, now time to discuss the more overtly melodic aspect of Unstoppable, seemingly more prevalent than past EPs from Norris. There are so many little musical interludes across the collection here. Could go on for a long time talking about each and every one of them, but I'm going to pick out those that stand out, for better or worse. The violin that we get briefly on the first 2 tracks is lovely, on the opener following a grand attention-grabbing introduction to the EP with a soothing quelled section. It's dreamy, classical, sets a scene, and it's the violin that really makes that moment before the EP's first drop, enchanting and mystical. And on Believe, the violin does really well to rejuvenate it in the midsection, alongside Norris's voice, the piano, and the time-stopping chime notes that we get in the introduction as well. Elsewhere, on Break Free, I enjoy the electric sequence following the first drop. Musicality is top-notch, real emotion surging and coursing through. A section that I feel could be shorter, maybe chopped in half. However, the way it actually ends up being a build to another drop makes it work. Very clever, sir. Also, the whole sequence following the first drop on Hold On. Snare isn't great, but it's so blissful. The way it hangs in the air, suspended in space, is delightful. And after that, the amazing dramatic sequence propping it up with the guitar or piano. I can't quite tell what it is, but what I do know is that it's fantastic, so purposeful. There are also a few midsection moments that tie into the whole theme of the EP, that of being unstoppable, of nothing getting in your way, journeying forward through strife. The first interlude on the EP, for example, with the dreamy piano, intricate percussion, makes you feel as if you're about to go into battle. We have the midway moments in Break Free and Hold On that I've already discussed, but also Believe with another dreamy section, and I Believe bellowing throughout it. It's hella powerful. On that note, I'd have to say that the instrument I enjoy most across the board here is his voice and what the lyrics mean, what we can glean from them. Once more, Norris using a vocoder to make his voice extra thick and, dare I say, succulent. But beyond that, it's the lyrical content that I really enjoy about it. We get the first dose of it on Believe, where he longs for peace of mind in his imagination, which I interpret as him finding solace in tough times by making music. Which in many respects is the tale of the Uprising album, which came about after a particularly bad patch that Norris went through, and it's nice to see Unstoppable as a kind of continuation of that. Hearing him also say, "Listen to me, you must believe," is great because you feel like you need it. It's him spurring others forward through their own tough times. But more of note for me is what he says on the closer Hold On, talking about when he feels down, trying not to forget to look around at the beautiful place, that being the world, which he recognises isn't easy to live in, but that his peace within it is up to him, that he's never giving up, getting back up if he falls down with the strength to carry on. Honestly, it's quite moving, especially when you know what he's gone through. It helps, of course, that it's backed by a very hopeful, surging instrumental. That's just the introduction, and to have it return for the outro, Norris saying it's a beautiful place, lingering as the track and EP ends, makes it personal and a stunning way to round it off. Overall though, across its many aspects, melody, instrumentation, heaviness, I'm not sure Unstoppable quite coheres as well as his past stuff for the most part. There aren't that many drop moments that truly take me aback, or bits of musicality that really hit that sweet spot where all the elements work together in a pure, genuine way. I mean, I can tell when it does work because the chills go right down my spine, and that doesn't happen a lot here. Also, whilst I appreciate a lot of these little sequences and interludes in themselves, within the context of their respective tracks they seem a bit random and not working towards the main ideas. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love how much it brings together, always have and always will with him, but I've definitely heard it glued together far more effectively from him before. Regardless, however, that it is so ambitious and adventurous makes me find as much good in it as I do not so good. You know, every song being over 5 minutes really does say it all for how wide-reaching it is. Think of what dubstep mostly is today, and then listen to this EP, and tell me that this exact sort of thing is what we don't need more of. I dare you. I may not be as big on the ideas, but it's still so joyous and daring and full of life that I end up enjoying it quite a lot beyond that surface level appreciation. I still sit back, listen to it, and marvel at what he does. It's not always going to work being that ambitious, but I can at least always strongly see what he's trying to do. And for me, that's what matters, the intention. At the end of the day, these tracks are how he wanted them. Beyond that, it's just about personal taste, as whole songs, these four not being quite for me. His music feels most emphatic when it's flying off in all directions like a ravenous melodic beast. We get a bit of that here, but not enough. Interesting is the word I've used most in my notes, which says a lot about how questionable I find a lot of the direction and sound choice here. And there isn't one song here that front to back blows me away like several from Uprising and Rally the Troops do. Unstoppable seems a little less focused ideas-wise comparatively, but ultimately there's still a lot to enjoy about it, just that he's got to such a high standard now that getting to that point with every release just isn't going to be possible. More than that, every track is so multifaceted, bringing in different influences like Knife Party, Virtual Riot, Different Heaven, Dead Mouse, Nero, etc., showing us once again what is capable with dubstep music. And perhaps more importantly, it has a message. I mean, look at the song titles, the lyrics. It's designed to inspire people. How often can you say that about a bass music EP? I've really wanted him to join a big label at times, but if he did, he wouldn't be able to do stuff like that, the exact thing that makes Unstoppable very powerful. So, whilst I'm not as on board on the ideas front compared to past material of his, I return to my first point, which is that this EP still reminds us of what Norris's music is best for, just in a different way to usual. Now, in terms of my favourite on the EP, then I think I would have to go with the closer, Hold On. A really moving vocal performance, my favourite heavy moments on the EP, and some great interludes in it as well. The most rounded and complete on Unstoppable, I would have to say. And if you would like a couple of recommendations if you enjoyed the EP, then of course I would look at old Teminite, no one really like him, maybe some MDK for a bit of crossover, but for more melodic heavy stuff, Xylent, Chime, Asora, anything from the Rushdown label. And so there we have it, my thoughts on the new EP from Teminite, Unstoppable. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching. But what did you guys make of the EP? Do you have a favourite track from the four? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, then be sure to give it a big old thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell along the way so you can be notified whenever I upload a new video to the channel, and my social media accounts are linked in the description box down below. For some other EP reviews on the channel, check out the link next to my head somewhere. And lastly, if it's naughty, then you know guys, so be sure, as always, to keep it naughty and stay safe. And I shall see all of you legends in the next one. Peace out.